In the year 1284, in the prosperous town of Hamelin, Germany, a terrible plague was about to change everything.
Rats! Rats everywhere! They are eating all my bread! The rats had infested every corner of Hamelin. These were not ordinary rats, but unusually large and bold creatures that feared nothing. The entire town was overrun. Did you know that medieval towns were especially vulnerable to rat plagues? The mayor of Hamelin faced the greatest crisis of his career. His reputation and the town's prosperity hung in the balance. An emergency council meeting was called. The town leaders needed a solution desperately. We must rid our town of these vile creatures. I will pay 1,000 guilders to anyone who can solve this problem.
The stranger walked with the confidence of someone who possessed extraordinary abilities. His patchwork coat seemed to shimmer with hidden magic.
I am called the Pied Piper. I can rid your town of every single rat, but my price is 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders. Yes, yes. Remove these cursed rats and the gold is yours, stranger.
The mysterious flute seemed to be no ordinary instrument. Legends spoke of magical pipes that could The Pied Piper positioned himself in the town square and prepared to demonstrate his extraordinary gift.
Thousands upon thousands of rats answered the Piper's call. The sight was both horrifying and mesmerizing.
The townspeople watched in wonder as their nightmare seemed to be ending before their eyes.
The Pied Piper led his mesmerized followers through the winding streets of Hamelin, heading toward the town gate.
The Piper led the rats beyond the town walls toward the Weser River, which flowed swiftly nearby.
And just like that, Hamelin's terrible plague was ended. The town was free of rats for the first time in months. The Pied Piper had fulfilled his promise. Now it was time for the mayor to fulfill his.
The people of Hamelin rejoiced. Their town was saved, and life could return to normal.
The Pied Piper returned to the town hall to collect his promised payment of 1,000 guilders. But something was wrong. The mayor's expression was not one of gratitude, but of greed and calculation.
The mayor was having second thoughts about parting with 1,000 guilders. Greed was beginning to cloud his judgment.
The Pied Piper's eyes flashed with dangerous warning. This was not a man to be trifled with. We made a bargain, Mayor. I fulfilled my part. Now you must fulfill yours. Pay me the 1,000 guilders you Consequences? You dare threaten the Mayor of Hamelin? Guards! Escort this charlatan from our town!
The guards approached, but the Pied Piper showed no fear. A mysterious smile played across his lips.
Very well, Mayor. You have chosen your path. But remember, I can pipe tunes for different dancers. You will regret this betrayal.
Good riddance. That strange fellow was probably a fraud anyway. We saved ourselves a fortune. But Mayor, the stranger kept his word about the rats. Perhaps we should reconsider. His warning sounded genuine. Reconsider? Never! I am the mayor and my decision is final. Now this meeting is adjourned.
That night, Hamelin slept peacefully, unaware of the doom approaching. The townspeople believed their Dawn broke on what seemed like an ordinary morning. But the people of Hamelin would soon discover that this day would be remembered forever.
The children of Hamelin slept innocently, unaware that their lives would soon change forever.
Then, as the sun rose higher, a familiar figure appeared on the streets of Hamelin once more. The Pied Piper had returned,
But this time, his tune would be very different.
The Pied Piper raised his magical flute once more. But this time, the tune he played would not be for rats. The melody that flowed from the flute was even more beautiful than before, hauntingly sweet and irresistibly
Throughout the town, every child heard the piper's call. The magical melody was irresistible. The children rose from their beds as if in a trance, unable to resist the magical music calling to them. Thomas! Thomas! Come back! Where are you going?
The children saw nothing but the beautiful music, heard nothing but the piper's call.
A square filled with Hamelin's children, all under the Piper's spell. Their desperate parents could do nothing but watch in horror.
Thomas, son, it's me, your father. Please wake up. Fight the magic.
But the Pied Piper did not stop playing. The time for payment had passed. Now the mayor would pay a different price.
My baby! Please, not my baby! Thomas, come back to me!
The procession wound through the countryside, the piper's tune never faltering, the children never...
Even Hans, the lame boy who walked with a crutch, could not resist the piper's call. He struggled to keep pace.
They reached the mighty Koppelberg mountain, and still the Pied Piper did not stop. He walked directly toward the solid rock face.
Then, as if by magic, the mountain itself opened before them. A doorway appeared in the solid rock.
The doorway revealed a tunnel filled with the most beautiful lights and colors imaginable. To the enchanted...
One by one, the children of Hamelin walked into the mountain. Their parents watched helplessly from a distance, unable to reach them in time.
Little Hans struggled on his crutch, trying desperately to keep up with the other children. The magic pulled him forward.
Hans reached the doorway just as the magic began to fade. He lunged forward desperately, but he was too late.
The parents of Hamelin were left with nothing but grief and solid stone. Their children were gone.
In the days that followed, Hamelin became a town of silence and sorrow, where once...
The doorway opened in the mountain, filled with rainbow lights. The piper walked in and all the children followed.
The adults believed Hans, for they had seen the children walk as if enchanted. They knew magical forces were at work. Hamelin became a town in permanent mourning. The streets that once rang with children's voices were silent.
The people prayed for their children's return, but the mountain remained silent. They prayed for forgiveness, but the Piper never returned.
The memorial was placed on the town hall wall, a permanent reminder of the price of greed and broken...
Parents visited the mountain daily, leaving flowers and prayers, hoping against hope that somehow their children might return.
Hans grew up alone, the only child in a town of adults. He never forgot his friends who walked into...
Every day, Hans looked toward the Koppelberg mountain and wondered about his friends. Were they happy in the...
Winter came to Hamelin, bringing snow but no joy. Where once children would have played in the white... The baker still made his bread, but with no children to enjoy his sweet pastries, his heart was no longer... The mayor commissioned portraits of the lost children to be painted from memory. He kept one in his chamber.
New laws were written in Hamelin. All promises must be kept. All agreements must be honored.
The laws were sealed and became official. Hamelin would be forever known as the town that learned the hardest lesson about keeping promises.
Travelers who came to Hamelin noticed immediately that something was terribly wrong. We had children once, sir. Over 100 beautiful children. But we broke a promise to a magical stranger. The merchant could hardly believe the tale, but looking at the empty streets and the townspeople's grief, carried the tale of distant lands.
And that, my dears, is why you must always keep your promises, no matter how difficult. The Pied Piper.
The tale became a favorite story to teach children about honest and keeping promises. Generation after... Years passed. New mothers made sure to teach their children the story of the Pied Piper. They would never allow Hamelin to forget the price of broken promises.
The memorial remained, a stone testimony to that fateful day in 1284. The Koppelberg Mountain stood unchanged through centuries, keeping its secrets. What happened?
The real town of Hamelin exists today in Germany, a beautiful medieval town that has embraced its legendary...
Historical plaques throughout Hamelin tell the story of the Pied Piper, whether based on true events or pure...
I was there, children. I saw the magical doorway open in the mountain. I was the last child of old Hamelin.
And so the tale passed from generation to generation, taught by the last witness. Hans lived.
The Pied Piper of Hamelin became one of the most enduring legends in European folklore.
The earliest written accounts of the legend date back to the 14th century. Medieval chroniclers recorded the event.
Historians have debated for centuries what really happened in Hamelin. Some believe the children died in a plague. Others think they emigrated.
Today, children around the world still read the tale of the Pied Piper, learning the timeless lesson. Keep your promise.
The story is taught in schools as both literature and history, a cautionary tale that bridges the gap between legend and reality.
The tale has become a bedtime story, teaching children about integrity and consequences in a way they can understand and remember. The image of the Pied Piper with his magical flute has become iconic, recognized around the world as a symbol of...
In Vengeful.
The moral complexity of the tale make it enduring. There are no simple heroes or villains, only...
The Koppelberg Mountain stands eternal, witness to centuries of human stories.
Today, the Koppelberg Mountain is a popular hiking destination. Families climb its trails safely, children do. But even as families hike, plaques along the trail tell the story, ensuring visitors remember the legend.
From the summit, one can see all of Hamelin.
Hamelin has a museum dedicated to the Pied Piper legend, displaying historical documents and artistic interpretations.
The first written reference to the event appeared in 1384, exactly 100 years after the supposed occurrence.
Today, Hamelin's economy benefits from the legend. Thousands of tourists visit annually, drawn by the mysterious tale. Gift shops sell Pied Piper merchandise, turning tragedy into commerce. Some find this distasteful, while others...
For children,
The Pied Piper is simply a fascinating fairy tale. Without...
The Weser River still flows past Hamelin, its waters the same that supposedly drowned the rats.
life continues in Hamelin. People are born, live, love, and die.
The church bells ring as they have for centuries, calling people to reflection.
Hamelin today is a place of normal life, of families and commerce, of joy and sorrow like any town.
Parents still bring their children to the memorial stone, teaching the lesson of keeping promises. And the children understand, in their way,
They learn that promises are sacred, that words have power, that
The mountain stands silent in the night, keeping its secrets, if secrets there are. Sometimes, in certain light, shadows on the mountain almost seem to form a doorway. Some say that somewhere, the Pied Piper's flute still exists, waiting. Under the same stars that witnessed the events of 1284, if events there were. And so the tale of the Pied Piper of Hamelin endures, told and retold across. The legend reminds us that promises are sacred trusts, that debts of honor must be paid.
And still, children reach for the book, drawn by the colorful cover and magical promise.
Once upon a time, in the year 1284, in a prosperous German town called Hamelin, a terrible plague of rats appeared. And so the story begins again, passed from generation to generation, a gift and a warning wrapped together.